Hello, and welcome to another nameless episode of Bored and Annoyed.
Well, with more reviews.
Bored and Annoyed with more reviews.
Yeah.
They'll never end.
That's true.
This is the song that's the song that never ends.
Unless, Scorsese's right, and that cinema has just died, and at some point all we get are like 8 Marvel movies a year. That's what cinema becomes.
One, false. He's wrong. He's just wrong. Jesus Christ, we can't even have an intro. You know, one of those shitty hey,
Marvel intro.
How's it going, Jackson? You know, we can't do the shitty banter. We're just get right into it. I'm home at the movies, by the way.
And I'm Jackson, and we will be talking about Scorsese's movie today. So I guess that's related.
So yeah, thank you. Welcome to Bored and Annoyed.
Bringing you the most important and the most entertaining news that you will get all day. It's the movie news with a couple of rabble-rousers, Jackson and Home at the Movies. It's Bored and Annoyed with the news.
So as far as news, let's just hop into the gay Star Wars story. The Star Wars story about LGBTQ.
Yeah, I can't believe, I don't understand. Okay, one, LGBTQ in Star Wars. Great. Who cares? But I don't care about a gay character being in anything. I have no problems with this. I don't see any reason why anybody should have a problem with this. My thing is I guess it doesn't matter to me, but I guess I'm not the person that might feel excluded. So
sure,
to
that's
me,
true.
It doesn't make to me. It makes absolutely no difference. Who has a problem with this though?
I don't see. This is where, I kind of have a problem with making it a thing, just because to me at this point, they've gotten so much SJW shit, and by coming out and making sure that you're out there talking about this every time a new fucking Star Wars movie comes out, you're almost you're egging on the assholes, first of all.
Right.
And then there's also people who are probably, and not just LGBTQ as a topic, but there's probably people who get annoyed with political or, messaging in their movies, which I think that sometimes that makes sense. I'm with people that think that sometimes. So
I like it when it's done well, but I think it's different for every person. I think some people will really agree with a message and it might be really heavy-handed, but they're fine with it. I think Snowpiercer is pretty heavy-handed, but I kind of love the message, so I'm totally cool with it.
Right. Okay.
But I think that's different for each person. But I tend to be kind of annoyed when you're just kind of out there selling the politics of your movie before your movie even comes out. But I'm also it's kind of fucked, the world that we live in, where it's oh, you mentioned that there are gay people in your movie and it's somehow political. This is winning political points with one side and it's pissing off the other. Really?
So, if we have gay listeners, I would like them to share with me their thoughts on this, because my thought is that the goal eventually is for you to not notice it's just another person in the movie, right? I mean, if they're gay or whatever, it's not hey, let's make sure the one I think of is the Star Trek Beyond or whatever it was, where Sulu was gay in the movie, the character of Sulu,
right? Where it was
oh, he's gay because the actor who played him 50 years ago was gay.
I think the reasoning for maybe why it was there was maybe not the most sound, but it had no bearing on the quality of the film.
No, but the point is you can have gay characters in movies, and I would assume most people, that especially those who go see something like Star Wars, I would think, aren't going to necessarily care. They're making it a talking point. It's almost more powerful if it's not. It's almost more powerful if it's just oh, hey, look, this is just normal at this point.
It would surprise people when it comes out and it's just there.
Right.
I'm trying to think sort of I feel everything in life is kind of okay, so this is a truth, this is a truth, this is a truth, therefore we have to do this kind of thing. I think that's kind of maybe what's going on here. So I'm sort of thinking okay, so we think about movies as kind of, at least franchises,
sure,
maybe as institutions. And so like Star Wars is kind of an institution.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, well, maybe, because I do think, like so that's a truth. Star Wars is an institution. Then there's the idea of people feeling for a long time that maybe traditional media has excluded or ignored them or othered them. So that's also a truth. So I think it's the idea that Disney, in large part, is like, look, we don't want you to think that this institution is ignoring you.
Sure. I mean, I get it. It's tough though. I mean, it never comes up in my life ever. I'm not gay. So
Sure.
It doesn't come up in my life. Not many people I know are gay. I mean,
well, I think gay people are like I think statistically they're like 3% of the population.
Correct.
So it's a very
that's according
small,
to polling, but
right,
yes.
Right. Well, yeah, and I guess people could, lie or might still be in the closet, whatever.
Right.
And I guess the percent maybe even doesn't matter, I guess. I don't know. To me, it's just like, it's such a small, I think it's more so for people who want to feel good about the fact that they're okay with gay people.
Okay. Yeah, right. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Because I think that's a much larger percentage of people.
Well, it's just funny because I can't imagine, like, I'm thinking of the original trilogy of Star Wars.
Right.
And I can't imagine, like, the George Lucas or the directors of the individual Star Wars movies, like, going out on these press tours and, talking about how woke their movie is and
different time. I mean,
different
for sure.
time, but it's like Star Wars wasn't about that. It's got a pretty like universal message for everyone.
Right.
And I don't think anybody would have given a shit if in Return of the Jedi there was like a gay character.
That would have been groundbreaking for the time. For Blockbuster.
No,
I'm
not saying that like they're making out on screen, but I don't think like the Beauty and the Beast movie that came out a few years ago.
Sure.
What's his name? The little
LeFou.
Okay, so apparently LeFou was gay, right?
Nobody could tell.
Right, but
it was one of the dumbest. Well, Disney got a shit ton of blowback from the left and from LGBT
for saying he was gay.
For saying he was gay, and then one. The only gay thing he does is look somewhat happy that a man's dancing with him for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was odd, wasn't it? So
like,
I'm wondering if it's another. But why did they go out and like? Why did they make sure everyone knew that? That's my question, I guess.
Right. Well, like I said, I think it's like we want the people who are okay with gay people, who like gay people, who would like to feel good about the fact that they're okay with gay people. We want them to come and see the movie because they're the movie-going population. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, but you're also annoying people who have no problem whatsoever with gay people who just are sick of shit being shoved in their face.
Well, I think that's the problem is that I think we're all just a little tired of politics,
right?
Which will play into a review that we'll be talking about later on.
Yeah, and you're right. It's like it shouldn't be a political issue, but it is.
It's
like
really
there's certain just because like one team has decided to kind of be, I think, against like gay marriage, I think honestly, most people I even think on that side these days really don't give a shit what anybody does.
Right.
But the other team is pro, so it turns into this.
It's just so stupid.
It really is.
It's just a massive, like, I think of like this conversation and we're trying to dissect it, but it's also like, doesn't it just feel like a waste of time to even like, sure, gay people in Star Wars. I don't. Fine.
Right. Gay aliens.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, well, they're all. I think
the Bothans are all gay. That's the backstory.
Technically, they're all aliens.
I suppose.
Nobody's from Earth.
The humans are aliens too.
Now, if we had good old M. Night running the show, I think the third one would end up that they all were like, "We're going back to the beginning. We're going home," and then it shows Earth.
Well, I think what they should do is they should make it so all the Hutts are gay. That's their new, their new backstory, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they wouldn't make anyone mad.
You pick the ugliest, sloppiest.
I was just thinking of like it doesn't make any sense. Why would the Hutts be? Because he had like slave Leia. He was like trying to make out with. So.
Right. Well, there was That was it. You bring me back to Beauty and the Beast. That was another blowback, was the fact that it was the most buffoonish of characters in the movie. And his name literally means the fool when translated, and he's the gay character. It's like,
yeah, but the actor's gay, right? Is Josh Gad gay?
I don't believe so. No, he's got a kid.
Oh well, look at me. I just thought he was gay.
Luke Evans is gay. The one who played Gaston.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a handsome fella. Too.
He is a handsome fella.
Geez.
Good for him. For being handsome. For being handsome, not for being gay.
Good for him. He's living his best life.
He is. Good for him.
But yeah, we don't have to talk about the gay issue anymore. I did see that the actor who's in it, I think he plays like an admiral. He was in that Melissa McCarthy movie that you saw and I didn't.
Sure.
The older guy in that.
Oh, yes. I love him. He's great.
Apparently the cast of the new movie got to see it.
Oh.
And he went on Twitter and like was almost in tears about how awesome he thought it was.
Really?
Which, I mean, he's in the movie, so take it with a grain of salt. But he says it's like shocking, unexpected, blah, 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 blah.
I really hope it's good.
I hope it's really good. Yeah.
There's a part of me that's just like, I'm still not excited.
Well, you know what, though? Maybe this will play the opposite effect of The Last Jedi, though, where you were excited for The Last Jedi because you liked The Force Awakens and then you were disappointed. So maybe you just have no hope whatsoever. And
it's true.
It's good. And you're just super pumped that it was good.
That's more than likely what you just described is what's going to happen.
Yes, I would agree. I'm not the hugest J.J. Abrams fan, but I can't think of anything I've seen of his that I have disliked, that I have said, oh, that's bad.
Sure.
Like they're all entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But let's do, speaking of entertaining.
Oh,
how about a segue? There's no segue here. We've got some entertaining new trailers.
Speaking of entertaining. Yeah, you can do that between everything. Section. Yeah, we do have 3 trailers to talk about.
Yes.
Let's start with Mulan, since I just watched that. Now, I've never seen Mulan.
Sure.
I watched this trailer. It looks fine.
Yeah, it looks fine.
It does kind of bother me because I've been watching so many foreign films lately to see like this is clearly an Asian movie. All of the actors are Asian,
but they're speaking English.
But they're not like American Asian. They're clearly like from Asia. They have, an accent. It's their second language, right? So I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of taking me out of this trailer. I can't help it.
It's one of those things where we as adults, we pick up on that.
Right. That's true.
It's meant for kids, and it really is meant for kids don't want to read a movie. They just don't. And most adults,
the gritty R-rated violent Mulan movie.
Actually, that would be kind of badass.
Why not? Yeah, fuck it. Well, I guess why not would be you want to make money.
Right. But you know what? Japan, or not Japan, it's Chinese.
China, right?
So China could make one. They could make a rated R one.
Sure.
They got a
For cheap, it would probably be one of the best movies of the year, since apparently they know the best ways to make fucking movies.
But I think the trailer looks fine. I'm still not happy about the lack of the music because there are some good songs in there.
Yeah, but at least they're doing something that, I mean, this one hopefully will be like more different from the original than any of them, right?
It looks wildly different.
Sure.
I mean,
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
They took out Eddie Murphy played like the dragon.
Oh, did he play like the cartoony dragon? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess he was a cartoon. Makes sense
much.
that he'd be cartoony.
Yeah, but they took his character out, put in a witch. I don't know. It looks fine.
Yeah, it's colorful. Looks like neat set
it's coming
design.
Coming out in March. Gonna do
strong woman-led movie.
You know what? Dude, that's the thing. It's like we're talking about women-led movies, and we've got Black Widow coming up next.
Yes.
But we are getting, and I have no problem with it whatsoever. No. So many female-led movies and franchise movies at that. And honestly, it's kind of awesome because I like the fact that we're getting good female characters.
Sure. Well, and it's funny because both of these trailers don't do what the Charlie's Angels trailer did.
Right.
Clearly this story, like I said, again, third time, I've never seen Mulan, but I'm assuming this is a kind of a feminist type tale about some girl who wants to be a soldier and all the men get to go fight and she doesn't really get to. It kind of reminded me of the character in Lord of the Rings. Eowyn.
Yeah,
yes. That's what I was thinking, and I'm just like, yeah, it's It's amazing. That doesn't bother me at all. But you also don't have her slapping men around at the beginning of the trailer and
telling them that they're sexist pigs. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, it's the thing is like, no woman, it's really simple. It's really simple. No woman wants to walk into a movie and have the bimbo be the stereotypical representation of a woman. Yep. No man wants to walk into a movie and have all the male characters seem like assholes and sexists. It's just common sense.
Fast and the Furious. Oh, they're not sexist, though, I guess.
I don't know. Those movies are lowest common denominator.
Yeah, they do well. With men.
Good for them.
Can't wait for the next one. In space, I hear. That's the rumor.
Can we stop?
It's actually happening in space.
Can we stop talking about it? Let's talk about something better. Let's talk about Black Widow.
Yeah. So another one, female-led action movie. It looks fucking awesome.
It really does.
Do you know who's directing this?
It's a female director. I actually don't know her name.
All right, it's ruined. I don't want to go see it anymore.
Yeah. No, it looks great. Yes. Florence Pugh.
Yeah, she's like her sister. Right? And she's got a Russian accent, which I don't know if I buy yet, but I know she's British, so I guess I shouldn't buy her American accent. So
yeah, her American accent in Midsommar was fantastic.
Yeah. I've never seen her play, or actually, no, in Fighting with My Family, I believe they're British.
Yeah, no, yeah. So she's not really a sister.
Oh, okay. She's like her sister in...
they both did the Black Widow thing. Right. So when he's like family, like when David Harbour comes in, family back together again.
They're like families, like in
they're a surrogate family.
Gangster stories, like
yes,
part of the family.
Okay. Exactly. So yeah, I think it looks great. David Harbour looks great. Rachel Weisz is just
always great,
always a win.
Yeah, the action looks good. It looks very good. Like Winter Soldier-y.
Yes,
like spy, type plot line.
Yep. And I think the thing that's got me excited is.
Aside from the shillness, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like I think everybody before the trailer was kind of like, okay, do we really need this? Like her character is dead. What do we have? And I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know what? This is actually kind of fantastic because this is making the Bucky and Falcon show. Okay. It's your first foray into the Marvel universe in current times since Endgame. Okay.
I mean, we had what, Far From Home.
Yeah.
But that was right after.
Well, hold on. Question, though. When does this take place?
This takes place in between Civil War and Infinity War.
Okay.
So she's on the run because of the Accords.
Okay. And do we believe that this is the last of Black Widow, or are they going to find a way to bring her back in the regular story?
That's a great question because I think that Marvel would be remiss if they didn't find a way to tie this to the current phase and where they're headed.
Right.
So I think the way that you do that is Florence Pugh is going to be the new Black Widow in a recurring role in some capacity.
I think they're going to bring back Scarlett Johansson Black Widow.
I'd say it's 50-50.
I'm going to give it 75.
Okay. I think there's a real shot.
I mean, and you know what? People would be annoyed, but I don't fucking care.
If it's fun
been long
and
enough
entertaining,
where the impact had already set in for death, I'm fine with it.
Well, and we lost Tony, and it sounds like Robert Downey's done, and we lost Cap, and it sounds like he's done.
Sure.
And I mean, and guess what? Happens all the time in the comics. So long as she doesn't die 10 times and comes back,
right,
I'm good.
Yeah.
A death here or there, and you come back and it's wobbly woobly shit, whatever.
Well, if this movie makes a shit ton of money too, which I'm assuming it will.
And really feasibly, they could just continue to make Black Widow, here's what happened in between stories.
Okay.
And I think I'd be fine with it. I mean, if every single one of them, if it was a trilogy where every single one was something that happened in between some of the movies, I think I'd be cool with it.
It is tough to bring her back, though, too, because if they brought her back, her main, plot lines all involved, Tony or Captain America. That's where she's, I guess, Hulk had the little Hulk relationship.
She had a Hulk relationship. I think this is the opportunity where you can actually branch her out and make something new with her. The question is where do you take her character? What do you do with her?
Yeah. Turn her into Lady John Wick or something.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, we had that ballerina scene in John Wick 3.
Yes.
And this has got the ballerina tie, too.
Of course.
So, classic spy shit. talking about spy shit, James Bond.
Ooh, now that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I'm blown away by this trailer. I think it looks fucking awesome.
It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does. It looks great. I was worried when Daniel Craig said the last one was his last one, because to me, I did not feel like that was a proper send off for this version
terrible.
of the character.
I thought it was terrible.
It wasn't even an attempt to end, because you like introduced Blofeld, and you turned him into the actual Blofeld at the end of the movie. So he's back. Blofeld, he's in prison or whatever in the trailer.
Happy about that.
Remy Malek is the bad guy in this one.
I like his mask.
Yeah.
Like,
if that's him, it kind of confused me a little bit.
I'm pretty sure it's him, because
he's got a weird face thing going on.
He's got a scarred face, which would make sense for why he'd wear a mask.
So I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
I think that the little banter between the new 00 who they put in his place looks fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're setting up a James Bondless next movie.
007, right?
That's fucking weird. I don't know. I'm not for that, because I love James Bond, but I think it looks good.
I think the way that you make that work is you have to have an engaging character, one, and you have to sort of continue to deepen the world of James Bond.
Sure.
If you want to do a James Bond list 007 series.
That would be tough. I mean, you've done 25 fucking Bond movies.
Right.
You know, that's a tough one to
I think
swallow.
everybody has always thought of this new Bond series as its own series.
Yeah, but it's still it's Bond, though. I mean,
it is Bond.
It's true, but you still have Q, you still have M, you still have fucking everything's Bond.
Well, that's kind of why I like it, though, is like you've got a foundation for a new character to walk into. I'm not saying I want it.
You better really like whoever it is. That's the other thing.
Well, and you have to make them, you really have to make them an engaging character. And I think the best thing that this Bond series has done with Daniel Craig is he goes through a new thing in every movie, and there's a clear arc from beginning.
He's fucking awesome as James Bond. Man.
Right, well, he is, but he also changes. He's not a stagnant character.
Yeah, no, it's not the serialized type of James Bond that it used to be, where it's like every movie can be watched on its own.
Yes.
Clearly. Here's another thing that would make me say that they won't have the guts to do that, and they won't do it, is the fact that it's always an event when there's a new Bond.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So you're missing that marketing push, because you cast a new Bond, and it's like, okay, well, we got a new James Bond. Everybody has an opinion. You know, I was actually thinking about, everybody was talking about, what's his name? The black dude who they're talking about playing James Bond.
Who's that now?
Fuck. It was the guy in Thor.
Right. Okay. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
He's been, rumored for years.
So, so everybody's like, oh, God, bitching about a black Bond and, whatever. And then I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, there were people bitching about a blonde Bond. Remember, that was a thing.
Yep.
So like people are so
well, and can we be honest? He doesn't even look like the Bond in the movie or in the books.
No, well, none of the Bonds really.
Right, like, that's the thing. No, none of them did.
Craig looks more like the Bond of the books, but at this point, the books have been so.
So to me, it's like, where are you drawing your line of basis of this is not Bond?
Right. Well, a blonde Bond worked, so.
Yeah. How about just a good actor with a good story?
But it is funny though, because so one thing that would lean me against Idris Elba was Daniel Craig. Like, you had seen him in some stuff,
right?
But now Bond, he was like a new experience for you, like. Because he was in like a movie called Cake or something, he was in like random little roles here and there.
Yep.
But it was exciting to not know much about the actor. And then you see it and you're like, holy shit, this dude's fucking awesome. Right. Where it's like Idris Elba, we would kind of know what we were getting.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I also think he is kind of spot on for, if you're going to do a black Bond, he's kind of spot on for that.
But there's probably a lot of black dudes who are spot on for a Bond. We
just
don't know.
Probably. I mean, it is the one that's right out in there in the cultural consciousness.
And he's a little older. I feel like you got to start with a younger guy.
I feel like his window has probably gone away.
But yeah, I mean, it's if it's a goodbye to Daniel Craig, I would say overall the run has been successful. They have a couple stinkers in there, especially Quantum of Solace. That movie is just a fucking disaster. But yeah, it's gonna be bittersweet.
I like that. I mean, it is very standard, like old man jokes.
Sure. Yeah, his knees are bad or whatever. Sure.
I'm liking that though, because it's new to Bond.
Yes.
It's very new to Bond.
They've been doing, this will be the second movie where they're kind of doing that though, right? Because Inspector, he kind of had problems too.
Did he? I can't quite remember.
Yeah, he was like on his way out.
Right.
But yeah, I like the idea that like he went off and got betrayed by this woman or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds a little Jason Bourne-y, but
Sure. But it looks fucking good. The action looks good.
Yeah, action
bad
looks
guy
good.
looks good.
Yep.
He's not a Quantum of Solace bad guy who's just a normal looking guy. He's got like his Bond villains should all have some deformity or cartoony problem with them. That's the best version of a Bond villain.
It is. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that makes them fun is
right.
What makes they are cartoony. They're pulpy.
Well, and that's what's interesting is that they've done such a good job in the new series of kind of blurring that line where it's realistic enough where it's not so cheesy anymore.
Right.
But you still had like Casino Royale, the dude bleeds out of his eyes. And,
that was cool.
Skyfall, he had that weird facial problem because he had tried to bite that suicide pill.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
That so far has been my favorite. I love the mask though, but I'm just big on masks.
It's a cool mask.
It
kind of looks like the mask. The new mask looks like the mask on the chick in Suicide Squad, the Asian sword fighter chick.
Little bit, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think we talked all three trailers.
Yeah. Are we ready for reviews?
We're ready for.
What are we reviewing first? You go there first.
Let's. You know what? Let's just get the Scorsese thing out of the way.
So if you'd like to jump ahead on this review, go ahead and fast forward an hour and a half.
We'll be halfway done.
Yes, right. I thought it was great. I thought it was a little too long, but it actually, as I was watching and I felt like it was too long at the beginning, maybe the first half, but then all of a sudden I was like super engaged in what was happening. And all of a sudden, it wasn't that big of a problem for me anymore.
I agree with that. It's the beginning. I think the beginning lacks a sense of focus. I think that might be the best way to say it.
Well, you also have to watch an 80-year-old man with a young man's face beat up people, and it did not look good.
No.
I thought there were a couple parts in this with that CGI de-aging that was like, yeah, I'm not buying this.
Right.
Right.
But that aside, you're right. It picks up. It starts becoming more engaging near the end. I don't think this is I don't know if it's at 99% right now or whatever. I don't think this is one of the best movies of the year. I really don't.
I do. I can see how people wouldn't though. I'm not going to argue with someone who.
For me, I enjoyed half of the movie and the other half I thought was okay. So for me, I'm like, and it's not like the first half was bad.
No,
it was just it felt very standard Scorsese. And that sounds like that should be like a good thing.
See, that's why I was happy, was because I'm seeing a Scorsese mob movie. Well, and it felt like Casino or Goodfellas.
Right.
But we can,
I love mob movies. I really do. Yeah. And Godfather, the book is actually one of my favorite books of all time.
I've never read it.
It's Mario Puzo, man. He that movie. That movie is great, but honestly, the book is better.
Mario, really? It's better?
It is. I think it's better. There's more characters. They had to cut some characters out, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, point being, I do enjoy this genre. I enjoy it immensely. I still felt like there's not a whole lot new here at the beginning. It's when we got deeper into the movie, when we started getting into, I guess, maybe the purpose of the movie and the characters a little bit more. That's when I was like, all right, I'm on board now.
They certainly make you very attached to especially the main three characters in the movie.
Yes.
They do it. He does an excellent job of that.
Feels like there's a chunk of the movie where you're missing Joe Pesci and you actually miss him.
Yeah, he's great in this.
I think he's my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah. He's still scary, but he's not, oh, you motherfucker. He's fucking
subdued.
Crazy Joe. Yeah, he's not crazy Joe Pesci. But what I appreciated about this that was unique from Goodfellas or Casino, because those are the two I'm going to compare this to, I feel like it feels like one of those two, was that there's big sections in casinos and Casino and Goodfellas where they're all doing drugs or whatever. They're living the fucking life, Mm-hmm. It's a crazy fucking experience, it's intense, whatever. This is not that kind of movie.
Right.
This is very poignant conversations, sit down, calm discussions. There are a few moments where like some funny, like, generic type mob stuff happens. Like there's one scene in it where a couple characters are like kind of fighting and their bodyguards are trying to like kind of settle them both down, which was fucking great. But I appreciated that it wasn't, it's almost like, it feels like a movie an older, wiser person made. I don't know. That would be the description I would give.
Right.
It's not as much fun, but
and it's tied into reality. These are things. These are events. These are people that these are people that really existed. These are events that really happened.
Sure. According to our narrator, real life.
Not all of it. I mean, there's fiction in it for sure.
But they're definitely real people.
But as far as like the big events did happen, like JFK being killed.
Yes, true.
The crackdown on the mob after like JFK.
Yeah, but like we don't actually know who killed.
No. I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the big events. Big events actually did happen. Whether or not so and so did it.
Right.
We don't know.
It made it more interesting.
Yes. But
the whole JFK thing was pretty neat.
It was
the whole explanation of the mob and how
it was interesting.
Yeah, well, it was really good.
Well, and that's the thing is like if you're a little bit, and this is like the time of American history that I probably know the most about, this sort of time frame. So I'm like, you guys, you did a good job.
Pretty good, yeah.
Like I love, there really was like this giant fucking bust in like the late 70s, early 80s of like basically all of the mob, all of the mafia was taken down. And which is why you really don't hear too much about the mob or the mafia now, because it basically was essentially
wiped
destroyed.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, John Gotti. Ruined the future of mob movies because you were out there
talking about
everything.
Gotti. This movie is everything that movie wishes it was.
Think about that. Yeah, it was. That is hilarious to even imagine.
Yep.
That it's the same genre.
It is.
It's unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
That just blew my mind.
Yeah, it was the first thing I thought of. I was like, this is exactly what Gotti wanted to be.
Oh my God.
There was even the narration from the main character which...
You're right. It started with Gotti like standing on the bridge.
That was so awful. That was so awful. He's looking at like the fucking bridge and then he turns around. I'm John Gotti. This city.
But yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want to do about spoilers on this? What's your grade, I guess?
I guess I would give it probably a B.
I'm going to give it an A-.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I
like the camera work in this.
It's so Scorsese.
There's some very nice. There was one where I was like, "Oh, you're showing off now, Scorsese."
Are you talking about the spoilers? Spoilers?
I'll just say the location. They're in a barber shop.
Yes, that's where I was going.
And the camera pans in front of a mirror, and there's no camera there, and it's just you're like, "Oh, you son of a bitch."
It's pretty fucking good.
And it kind of does this thing where it just sort of wanders, follows.
Shot,
yeah, it's this nice tracking shot, follows a character, then it follows two other characters, then it goes somewhere else, and it's good.
Yes, it was fucking awesome. It reminded me of the Goodfellas tracking shot where they go beneath, which is still to this day
I think it's one of the
best.
I think it's probably the greatest tracking shot in history, just because at that time, what that took versus what it takes now, it's just insane.
Which, by the way, that leads me to, did you get a chance to watch One Cut of the Dead this week?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Shit.
You're going to be impressed with that.
Okay.
But anyway, I thought it was great. Spoilers?
Spoilers.
Fucking De Niro in this, there's a few scenes where like towards the end, where he's sad that he has to kill, God damn it, how can I not remember the fucking Union dude's name? Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah. Jimmy Hoffa, where he's like upset about it. Basically, there's a scene where Pesci
Pacino.
Yeah, and it's funny because I saw like a comment about he should be up for an Oscar. I'm like, what do you mean? He just yelled. He was good. It was good.
He should not be up for an Oscar.
No.
He did his thing, which is I love his thing.
Yeah,
but let's not pretend that this was like one of. I mean, come on.
In this movie, even. Like compared to the other performances in the movie.
I actually think he's just as good as everybody else in the movie.
Okay.
I think De Niro does do a good job. De Niro had some nice little, he had like these this semi stutter which was new.
He had moments like I was just going to say the scene where Pesci like gives him the job to kill. He was amazing. The scene where he has to call Jimmy Hoffa's wife and he's like stuttering over his words. He can't spit it out, whatever it is he's trying to say.
Yeah. Well, that's the
fucking
thing is
great.
That's the thing about the second half is the second half feels like it has stakes and a purpose.
Sure.
The beginning is just kind of standard rise to power shit that we've seen in these mob movies.
But interestingly, without the fun rise to power stuff, really.
Right.
Which is I kind of liked.
I mean, no, I'm not saying like that was
that
bad.
Aspect bothers you, right?
No, that didn't. It just felt very sort of standard. You're talking about the CGI and how that sort of took you out. When Pesci shows up and he says, "Hey, kid," I'm like. Yeah. This man is like 45.
No, the worst one was this shop owner like pushes De Niro's daughter or something early in the movie, and he goes to beat the guy's ass.
Kind of
like,
loved that.
It looked so bad.
It didn't.
It looked like it was embarrassing.
It didn't look real, but and this is the thing I like about Scorsese is he does things that not a lot of people would think of, or I guess maybe smaller indie guys would think of. But I like the fact he just stuck with one shot. It's one shot the whole time.
Right, but you could have done that and had De Niro just like beat the dude's ass inside and throw him through the window or something.
Sure.
You could have, and you would have had the same thing in the scene. I mean, it looks like a grandpa. Yes. And he's supposed to be at this point. Well, this is what's tough too. Is like, what age is he supposed to be? 30s, 40s?
I have no 30s? Idea. It's a tough time to live, Jackson.
Either way, he does not look that old.
No,
he looks like an 80-year-old man with a young guy's face.
We're in our early 30s, and he looked at least 15 years older than us. At the youngest,
in the face.
In the face.
Yeah, and he looked like an old man who needs to take a break in the body.
Yes, in the body.
The way his pants are hiked up, the way, even when he's like standing, and now we're getting into the de-aging thing, which I guess we should talk about because it's
an aspect of the movie that I think, and that might be another reason why the beginning doesn't work as well, is because when they're younger, you just don't buy it.
It's a little distracting. Yes.
Because there's this big thing that happens to your body when you get older, which is you just start leaning your head forward more.
They look like, yes.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? You can do all you want in the face, but the fact that they're like hunched over and they've got old man hunch. No 45-year-old walks like that unless they have fucking back problems.
Now that brings me to the question of, do you prefer this, or would you rather just hire younger actors to play them as younger? Yeah, I know it's tough because I did enjoy the performances behind that shit. Like when they all meet, like Pesci meets De Niro, and they're like De Niro gets introduced to. By the way, Ray Romano is awesome.
I loved him.
Yeah,
I loved. But I love Ray Romano.
So do I.
I'm a self-professed fan. I don't care.
Yeah, Ray Romano introduces him to Pesci, and all that stuff is great. And I do think if it wasn't them, it wouldn't be as good. Because part of the event of this movie is you haven't seen these guys together in a movie like this in forever. I would argue that you haven't seen these guys play characters nearly this good in forever.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
So that's the event. So the idea that you would first be introduced to them and they wouldn't be them is tough.
Right.
You know? So
and there's the problem is I guess I love the settings, and I do kind of love mafia culture. I love like the honor and there's definitely like, machismo there and all of that. That's the whole point, but I kind of love it. And I love like the setting, but it's like, I guess it's a little disappointing to me that I didn't like it more because I do love those. It's kind of like it's almost like a Christmas movie in that like you know exactly what the setting is going to look like in a Christmas movie. And if you love Christmas movies, you're down for that shit. And so I'm down for like
the mob.
I'm down for the mob. I'm down for like those
dingy bars.
The dingy bar, or with the wine bottle that's got the candle at the top and the fucking checkered, shit. I'm down for all of that. And the fact that I walked out thinking, well, the second half was pretty damn good.
I liked the whole thing. I did. It got better as it went, though. It really did, which honestly, that in and of itself for a movie this long is pretty impressive.
It's worth applauding because I did think, how am I going to make it through this movie?
But then I also I do think, and this is another topic, is this watched at home. You can pause it, go take a shit.
I didn't want to disrespect it that way, though.
Did you watch the whole thing in one sitting?
Whole thing, one sitting.
Oh, wow. I paused it. I paused it once, but I did watch it. I watched a 3.5 hour movie probably over the course of 4.5 hours or something.
I didn't pause it because I'm sitting here and I'm like, there's an emotional ride that a movie is trying to take you on. And when you pause a movie, even for 10 minutes and get out of it, it takes you a bit to get back in. And I do think that it affects your grade sometimes, but you had a higher grade. Yeah. So
well, it was kind of fun too, because it really felt like an event watching it. That's it. I've got my day off today. I'm going to sit down.
My day
this
off.
is going to happen. I'm doing this today. So that was neat.
I just wish that he would have cut the beginning a little bit.
Okay. You think that he got a little overindulged?
I think he did. I think that this movie might go up a full letter grade.
It's too long. I mean, I can't argue that.
If it had 20 minutes, half an hour less than what it has now, I think it goes up a full letter grade.
Because there are scenes where like your average person probably would call it boring, but then some of that is like the best stuff in the movie. Like you just get a look at De Niro's face, like feeling sick.
Sometimes they want to just put in historic shit for things that are happening, and it's like, okay, but at some point it's just gangsters doing gangster shit. And so I'm like, does it, like there was, I don't know, there was one in particular where they were dealing with like some sort of like, so-and-so sells blah, 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 and he needs insurance, which he gets from his son and blah, blah, blah. And it does kind of come back later in the movie when the government's investigating Jimmy Hoffa.
Yes.
But I'm also like, at that time, I could have just dealt with an exposition line of like, oh, he bought it from his son. I didn't need like
a long thing.
I didn't need that scene, and I don't know. I wish I had liked it more, but it was still pretty good.
I mean, there's some great shit in this. Like quite a few scenes that really stuck out to me. Like one was when De Niro's trying to explain to Al Pacino that you're going to fucking get killed. I've tried. And then he keeps having to go back and forth between these two people that he respects and say, look, I've had to talk with them. Nobody will listen. And that was classic De Niro. I told him, that shit was fucking great. Pesci in that, all that stuff. Those three guys were great. There's a little, and I forget the fucking actor's name. I looked him up and I forgot it, and I don't have my phone on me to check it. But the little Italian dude, or maybe he's Irish. I don't know. That's another thing, is these people are Irish, and
he's Irish.
The guy,
him and Jimmy Hoffa, I think, are Irish.
Okay, so he gets into a feud with Jimmy Hoffa.
Him, the little guy, as they call him,
right, and they basically have a couple scenes. One of them, like he shows up late to a meeting, and he's got like his shorts on, and Jimmy Hoffa's in a suit. You're never late,
you got shorts on.
So like shit like that to me. Late. Shit like that to me is just gold. I fucking loved it. Ice cream part in prison. Fucking awesome.
That was good. Well, and he does the whole, I mean, in its standard stuff, the whole racist thing,
Yeah, sure.
That was, and it was good. It was also a little standard, but I did love that. Like I said,
but that's how those guys probably are, because that's like their, you know what I mean?
Well, it's a cultural, it's the whole idea that my culture is better than your culture thing. But yeah, the whole second half is great. I love the scene where they get into the car when
the fish stuff,
the fish scene.
And by the way, Fat Damon, as he's called,
Fat Damon,
wow, he's great.
I love him.
He's I feel like a total asshole here.
I like the dude who shows up and he's like, Well, you buy a fish. You don't know what kind of fish it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. Then finally he's like, somebody told me to pick it up, man.
I just picked up a fish.
Yeah, the fish thing was great because it's just a fun little thing. But see, that's the kind of shit that they would cut.
Right.
Like they would make that shorter.
No, I don't think that's, you have to have a good editor. That's a great scene and it's filled with tension. That should never be cut.
Yeah, but some of the best stuff in a movie like this is that kind of shit. By the way, Jesse Plemons is Fat Damon.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's his name.
Yeah, no, he's great. I like him a lot.
And then I guess we should talk about the daughter, Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
I thought she was good.
My favorite singular relationship in the movie, because we've dealt with the idea in mob movies of the family not approving, blah, blah, blah. And
right.
We've even dealt with a mobster with children. We've seen the whole my son, he wants to join the mob, blah, 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 blah. Gotti. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like this particular way of handling a child's, the fact that she is virtually silent with her father for most of the movie.
She's scared of him.
She's scared of him. Loved it.
Yes.
Absolutely loved it. And
and Joe Pesci too. That was great.
I was disappointed because I thought for sure that the thing that was going to sort of be like maybe I don't know, the climax of the movie was going to be his daughter confronting him and having sort of a blowout with his daughter, which I guess wouldn't necessarily fit her character because it seemed like she was just like, all right, fine, I'm just done.
Well, there's almost a form of that, like a quiet form of that, where she looks at him and says like, oh, you didn't call her.
Why didn't you call her? And then she's getting more and more sort of desperate with asking. And I liked that.
Yeah, so did I. I thought it was awesome too, how like she's in love with Al Pacino's character, Jimmy Hoffa, but Pesci's character, she's just scared of. She knows that what world they're from.
And guess
she picks up on it.
And guess what? That's real.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be.
Well, I mean, you're telling me growing up you never had one of your dad's friends kind of creeped you out, or maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's
real. That,
like if you don't like somebody as a kid,
you don't know how to deal with it. And that was so real. And I was like, you know what? I've been that kid around somebody that was my dad's friend or, relative, whatever. I liked that.
So did I. I thought the whole thing was great with the daughter. They're getting flack, or Scorsese is, because she doesn't have many lines. Real quick touch on that. What do you think of that?
I mean, I get it because it's a movie that is centered around males. I mean, I think you could probably count on, well, not on one hand, I guess maybe two or three hands, the amount of female lines in the movie, or the amount of sort of females that have any sort of real power. They don't. But the problem is that that's not inaccurate to the time. Now, I guess you could have maybe restructured your movie, but then you're getting into redefining the purpose of the movie. So for me, I'm like, it makes sense.
Well, and for her character, it made sense. It was so powerful the way it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was so wonderfully done, and it almost makes her a powerful character because she's just... Well, and she's above this shit. She knows what's going on.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean? I loved the fact that, from a young age, she knew what was going on.
Exactly.
And it's funny because that little girl with almost no lines was actually one of my favorite characters in the movie.
I thought she was good. I would agree. I fucking thought it was great. Let's see here. How about the idea that De Niro's asking for forgiveness, but he doesn't really ever admit that he did anything wrong? Like he doesn't feel guilt. That was interesting.
That was funny. I don't mean like ha funny. Right. It was just kind of like, well, this is an interesting way of. We've never really seen this in a gangster movie.
It was very strange. And
it makes sense. Also, character wise, it makes sense. There are a lot of. I'm going to say men, but fuck it. I'm going to say men. There are lots of men who are stubborn about the choices that they've made in their lives. And there are a lot of men who get so wrapped up in sort of their world view.
Well, he wants to have it both ways, kind of, right?
Yeah. Well, and he just kind of doesn't see, he's like, this is what life was. I was protecting my family and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
there are plenty of people who don't have to kill people, and their family is still safe.
It's true. Yeah, and I guess, I mean, real quick, also the assassination scenes were pretty cool in this.
Yes.
Like when he goes in and pops people, it was just classic mob movie.
It was, yeah.
You know, I thought it was good.
And then again, there was standard mob stuff in there too, talking about the kind of gun that you want. I'm like, I swear to God, in fact, I know maybe.
Oh yeah, when you go into this situation,
you need this kind of gun. Yeah. They call this a ladies' gun, but you know it does the job. And and I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before.
I feel like I've seen it in a hotel room almost exactly as it was shown in this movie.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, I have problems with it. It's not like
cliche stuff.
It's like, not like it's a bad movie.
It's clearly, I mean, it
was just a little disappointing. I was expecting more, especially for somebody who's talking about the death of cinema.
Yeah, well, I thought he knew how to make a great cinematic movie. This was the Roma of mob movies.
It was fun. It was fun for the most part.
It was good. Yes. Yeah, I can't wait till they hire him to do a Marvel movie.
It's never.
Can you imagine how awesome that would be, though? Yeah. If they hired Martin Scorsese to do a Marvel movie, hey, we don't know how to do it. Apparently, here you go. Like here's a random character that does it. Right,
he would never do it. But yeah, let's go on to. I think we should do Knives Out next.
Knives Out. So yeah, Knives Out is a Rian Johnson quote whodunit quote. I'm gonna say because
joint. It's a Rian Johnson joint.
Yeah, and they're calling it a whodunit, but basically
disagree.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
It's basically about this really rich dude with his family, and all the family are kind of assholes, and he gets killed, and it's who did it, who killed him, right? Yep. I mean, that's a good setup for the plot. What were we can't get too far into this without saying spoilers, I don't think, but what were your thoughts on the movie overall?
My thoughts is it has a fantastic cast. It's got some really funny bits in it. And it's shot well, and I like the world, and I actually like the characters.
Yes, I would agree.
My problems are with structure and a little bit of, and people are going to have a problem with the fact that I'm saying this, and I'm a liberal dude, but the politics were pretty fucking on the nose.
See, this is where it's interesting, because I feel like I'm usually the one bringing that up on this show, and then for some reason in this movie, it did not bother me.
It just did. It's just, and we'll get into it in spoilers.
Okay.
But for me, I'm like, goddamn, dude, like, I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm not fucking stupid. Like, I felt insulted.
Oh, why? Just because they kept bringing up the main thing of the movie, which I guess, is it a spoiler? I guess we just won't say it.
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah.
Actually.
All right.
But I don't know. I would give this like a B.
I was giving it a B.
I don't think, I've seen people say it's one of the best movies of the year. I disagree wholeheartedly. I don't think, it's not going to be in my top 10.
No, it's not my top 10 either.
It was disappointing. I really was wildly excited for this.
How could you not be?
It looked, I think the trailer is a better time than the movie.
Well, because all of there's pieces in the movie that are amazing, right? That are just super fun.
Agreed.
All the work with the different actors that are playing these like outlandishly awful people, like different types of awful people. They all have like their own personalities and political leanings, but they're all awful, and it's fun to deal with them.
Yeah.
But the structure is odd.
I think that
it's very odd.
The structure is the most problematic thing about the movie, because there's something that happens about 20 minutes into the movie that deflates nearly all expectations.
Yeah, you're just like, I thought this was going to be something different than this.
And there's a part of me that's like, hey, you know what?
He deflated expectations.
I know he subverted expectations.
That motherfucker.
And there's a part of me that says, you know what? There's a time and a goddamn place for subversion of expectations.
And Rian Johnson can't figure it out.
No, I think he just does it because it's a subversion. I don't think that he does it because it makes his movies better.
Okay.
I think this not being a traditional whodunit makes the movie worse.
I would agree.
Because there is less suspense than there was potentially suspense for. And the real problem is that, okay, spoilers?
Yes. Fuck it. Oh, grade. You said what? B? I said B. Okay, we're good.
The real problem is that every character is exactly who they are portrayed as in their first appearance. And there is no switcheroos. There's no, no, everybody is exactly who you think they are.
I would say that Daniel Craig's character isn't, because he's kind of played up as kind of a buffoon. And then you find out that he was actually smart.
Never thought he was a buffoon.
I thought he was kind of a buffoon. I had a blast with his character.
The fact that he was putting everything together, the scene where he goes out on the porch, no. That's true. And also there was the fact that he was hitting keys every time to sort of give a cue to the detective to like, hey, maybe keep persisting on this particular path. I was like, no, this is a smart guy.
Yeah, but he's like a PI, like the type of guy who he's all over it, but they make you believe that he's not on to what actually happened when he really is.
Right.
But let's just talk. I mean, the elephant in the room is it's not a whodunit because you know who killed him 20 minutes into the movie.
Yes.
Or you think you do, right? I mean, you think you do, so you stop trying to figure out who did it.
You know the means, the situation, basically everything right up to the point. And there was a giant part of me that when it's like, oh, she didn't have the antidote, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This is more complicated than it looks like, and somebody tampered with shit.
Well, my problem is, as a recovering addict, I was like, wait a minute, he'd be dead instantly. And this doesn't make any sense at all. And then the fact that he didn't you just shot him with like a fucking lethal dose of morphine. Oh, you have 10 minutes. It didn't make any sense.
Sure.
So then at the end, somebody pointed out that it still doesn't make sense because she's supposed to be a nurse who would know what happened if she did get him with the morphine, and it wasn't the morphine. It was a cheap trick, Alex. I thought the ending was. I would have had much more fun trying to piece together the clues to figure out who did it the whole movie. Not, I'm just going to assume I know what happens until 15 minutes in the movie are left. Yep. And then all of a sudden it's like, that's not what happened. That's not a whodunit, in my opinion.
Well, it wasn't. And I think that's the problem, is that it's not a whodunit. And I think the second that you're like, this is now part of, like I said, knowing that the nurse was capable and that the antidote, the saving whatever,
the Narcan or whatever,
was gone, was the part where I was like, okay, so the real question is who did the tampering, and that was sort of my journey throughout the movie. But the second that Chris Evans is around, and you get any sort of spending time with him, no, because this goddamn movie, it sets it up really quickly, because the way that the dogs interact with what's her name, and they're like, oh, dogs are a good judge of characters, and they hate Chris Evans. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then they even put it out there with the dogs are barking at 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I fucking put it to, this is not surprising.
But Chris Evans was great.
I loved everyone. I loved everyone in this movie.
I know.
I loved everyone.
We're shitting on it, but it's fun to watch.
The characters are, I love all of them.
Yes. And I think Ana de Armas is great.
Oh, she's great. I love literally every character in this. I cannot believe how well they kind of nailed it. Like I said, though, the problem that I find with it that took me out of it constantly was the fact that he sets up the political message in that scene at the fireplace where they're talking about immigrants. Right. And he even kind of does it a little bit earlier on, where it's somebody's like, oh, she's from Paraguay. Ah, she's from Uruguay. Yeah,
everybody's all these stupid entitled Americans.
Yes.
Everybody. Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I sort of see where we're going with this, but then it just keeps going and going and going. And then Chris Evans is like, our ancestral home. And then the guy's like, hey man, he bought it in the 80s, just America was taken from the Indians, so it's not our ancestral home. And I'm like, guess what? I get it, but you're beating me over the goddamn head with it. And I didn't
go there with the ancestral home thing.
That's exactly what he meant.
Well, that's stupid.
I'm just saying that's exactly what he meant.
If that's what he meant, he's out there beyond where I can even.
Well, and then it's obvious that it's look at how
but it's
uncomfortable.
also that's how the whole concept of you know, they feel like it's theirs. Everything is theirs and they're entitled to it.
Yep.
And, you know, she's the help and whatever. And I didn't have a problem with that.
And, and that's literally the message of like the movie is that like, oh, we're fine with immigrants being the help.
The help, right. Yeah,
but the second that the role is reversed and they're the ones who are going to be helping us, how is the ancestral whites, how are we going to deal with that? And I'm like, you know what? I actually kind of like this as a question. I actually think that as a movie is more
like the
interesting.
Sequel would be good.
The sequel would be more interesting and maybe would have more to say. But to me, it's like, oh, immigrant good and white people bad. And it felt very binary, very obvious.
Yeah, but I like the fact that like within this family, there's like bickering because they have like different political leanings and, you know, they're all very different characters. And every one of them is like either using the immigrant as like their pat themselves on the back type person, or they all have their use of the immigrant character in the movie. So I thought that was actually pretty clever. And I respect to him for kind of doing it that way, because he could have easily been like, I mean, I'm assuming he's a liberal guy. I'm assuming.
I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
So he could have like done a movie where it's, you know, fucking MAGA hat wearing family and they're all just, you know what I mean?
I'm going to be, and this is funny because I tend to, you know, I kind of hate politics in general.
Sure.
I am left leaning. Sure. I think anybody who knows me personally knows that very well. But my problem is that I'm going to go further and actually say that the MAGA or right-leaning people actually were portrayed worse, because there is one who's an SJW character, because they have the alt-right kid and then they have the SJW kid, and the SJW kid is the only one who's crying about what's happening. She's the only one who feels terrible about the fact that she betrayed and lied to her friend.
Well, that's fine, but you still have that side of the family has been milking this guy out of cash, and it's completely contrary to what their belief system is supposed to be.
I think the idea is that they're well-meaning.
But yes, the Nazi jerking off in the bathroom for 2 hours or whatever that line was, that's a little bit harsher. I would agree.
Goddamn, though, when Chris Evans shows up, and it's just that eat shit, definitely eat shit. I could not believe it's just like you introduce a new character and they instantly fit in and they instantly add something new to the scene, and it's fantastic.
Michael Shannon was great.
Great. I just love all of the characters.
Yes. It's the It kid, Bill from It.
He's great.
Now, well, but he didn't have much to do. But when he did have his two lines, they were "Anchor baby" or whatever. It was fucking hilarious. Yeah, I thought it was great.
He was really, he was funny.
But yeah, overall we were disappointed because we were expecting a great movie, right?
It's one of these things where, you know, and guess what? He should be just livid because people love his movie. It's like at 97%. I thought we were supposed to all walk out and you didn't do a good job, Ryan. Ruin Johnson.
Yeah, ruin another movie.
I feel like he ruined his own premise.
I've seen 3 movies of his. Mm-hmm. I would still say that my favorite one is Looper.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah. So
I would wholeheartedly agree, because I don't think that there's any sort of obsession with subverting expectations there.
It's just a creative, fun movie.
It's just a creative, fun movie. This had potential, and I just feel like, I don't know. I'm disappointed.
He ruined it.
I really thought he was going to do. But
you know what's funny though? We gave it B's, so this would be a recommendation, right?
It would be. I think most people. I don't think anybody's going to be as harsh on it as I am. I think most people are going to walk out, and I think most people will say it's one of the best movies of the year.
No,
I think I've seen.
You think so?
I've seen a lot of people saying that.
What is?
Online.
I'm sorry, but what the fuck is that? Last Jedi had like a 95, 97% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure.
I'm sorry. They're from different planets than me.
Sure.
On this one too. Right. If that's the case, because I don't get it. Like in the last month, we have seen fucking like some of the best movies I can remember in a long time, whether it be Taika's movie or Parasite or fucking even The Lighthouse, if that's your kind of thing. This is so much more of a generic feeling. Ford v Ferrari is way better than this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yes, it's a little formulaic, but guess what? It hits everything it's trying to hit well.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It doesn't take the whodunit formula and
I just
change,
feel like, I look at Rian Johnson, I'm like, you're the epitome of what South Park did with the people smelling their farts.
Do you think he's just a troll? He's like a living troll?
I think he thinks he's some sort of goddamn genius.
Okay. He's not. No, I don't think.
No, I'm sorry. It was just, I'm sorry. It's sophomoric. It's so basic. Your point was so basic and heavy-handed. I'm sorry. And guess what? I might even be inclined to agree with you. Doesn't change the fact that it was basic and I understood it.
Well, that's funny too, because I think probably most people would agree with him. I don't know. There's not much like nuance to the message. He doesn't get into the details, the hard questions about this.
That's the other thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's all the easy shit
that's
that
the
you can make.
That's the other thing too. That's the other thing is I'm like, you don't deal with anything in complexity. It's just, and they kind of deal with that point of like, well, if it was the Swedish coming in their clogs, and it's like, he does that. He deals with the fact that it's just brown versus white. And I'm like, you know what, Ryan, I get it, but you're just being basic.
Yeah, it's true.
Just overrated movie.
I would agree, but it was pretty good.
Now, something that's, it was fucking hell. It's pretty good. Those goddamn, he knows how to write fucking characters. I'll give him that. Well, he needs somebody to fucking help him with a fucking structure and somebody to say, hey.
I think Luke Skywalker would disagree.
Okay. Well, he didn't own that character. And that character was the physical embodiment of, hey, you think this is going to happen? Fuck you.
But yeah, so what do we have? What else do we have? We have something else.
We're talking about something that defies expectations.
Okay.
Another Mr. Rogers movie.
Oh, yes. Duh. I was sitting here waiting for you. I forgot.
Fucking great.
It's okay.
I
knew I was going to disappoint you here.
I knew you were. I knew you were when you walked out and you didn't text me that it was amazing.
Yeah, you're sitting there. That motherfucker.
I knew it.
I thought it was okay. It was okay. It's a B to me.
I loved it.
Oh, see, I felt like I could easily see this as the Christmas Lifetime movie of the week.
I mean, it's schmaltzy.
Very.
It's saccharine.
Yes.
I don't care.
Love Chris Cooper, by the way.
Oh, he
great. Needs to be the asshole, and every time someone casts a prick, he has to play the prick.
Well, I mean, that was kind of my favorite thing. Is I was like, you know what, they're doing like this great job of sort of creating this. Like he felt like he was out of the 80s, or 90s. I guess this took place.
Right.
And I'm like, I love that, and I love the integration of Mr. Rogers' show into the movie itself.
That was kind of neat. Yeah, the intro and stuff. That was pretty good. It's tough. You know what's tough is I can't get past Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks in this. I'm not seeing Mr. Rogers. I'm seeing Tom Hanks.
I agree. I was still okay with it because I was like, you know what? If there's one person that's close to as wholesome as Mr. Rogers.
I do love Tom Hanks.
It's Tom Hanks.
But I thought it was like good. I thought it was good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think part of the problem is after seeing the documentary they made last year.
Well, that was great.
I was going in expecting to be like, and I don't shook by this.
And I don't think it's as good as that.
No, well, that was a powerful fucking.
Oh,
thing
it destroys you.
Yeah,
it destroys you. It got me in my heart.
It almost got me. Yeah, it almost made me cry. I did love the stuff, just the idea that like. He does not believe that this man could have actually been this good because you talk to people and I like the fact that Mr. Rogers is fucking weird.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah.
Like you can't watch this and be like, okay, this guy's a little odd. You can't not feel that way.
Right.
And they didn't try to like make him seem more normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this was who he was apparently.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think the actor fucking the guy from The Americans is great. I really think he's a good actor, the main character of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. Yeah.
And I think the girl from the lady from This Is Us who plays his wife is great. I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was amazing. I'm assuming this is another top 10 contender for you.
Probably not. I just really enjoyed the hell out of it.
Matthew Rhys is the main
sure. Yeah, no,
character.
he was great.
Yes.
He was great. And I feel like, I don't know.
It's got a great message.
It's not going to be in the top 10. It's because the main reason that it's such a high grade from me, I think I'll give it like, I don't know. I think I'm giving it like an A-.
Okay.
I think we didn't do grades, right?
I did B. I said
Okay.
B. It's a B movie.
Did I say A or no? I didn't give a grade, so I'm giving it an A-.
Okay.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
No, I think this was your grade.
Okay. So it surprised me.
Okay.
I did not expect it to be.
It's not really a Mr. Rogers movie.
No, it's the other guy's movie.
Right.
That was surprising. And like I said, the inclusion of the show and the way that they did it was very creative. And I sort of was walking in just expecting like, you know, a standard interview movie, you know?
See our biopic discussion from a few months back.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I was expecting like a standard typical biopic. And this is a creative way of doing a biopic.
Right. I was floored by that.
It is interesting that you're watching kind of a biopic about that guy who wrote the article versus watching one about Mr. Rogers. And it's brilliant because
that guy has an arc. Rogers doesn't.
Yes. Well, and it's brilliant because this is supposed to kind of, it points out the effect that Mr. Rogers had on the kids that he was doing his television show every day for, right?
Yes.
And what was missing from this guy's life as he kind of fought those concepts, you know?
So, and it was the idea that, you know what, if you maybe didn't have a father figure or if you didn't have maybe a steady parental figure in your life, these things are still poignant to you as an adult.
Yeah, and I would agree.
And I think that the way that it deals with father-son relationships, I think is pretty good too.
My favorite shit in the movie was him and Chris Cooper at the beginning, the scene at the wedding.
Oh, fantastic.
And then when he comes over to the house and it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Well, yeah, when he comes in and he's just yelling like, you know, they say you go out peacefully. No, Mom screamed.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, wow.
Well, and the idea that like you're watching this and in a lesser movie, you'd have that feeling of like, oh yeah, this dad's a piece of shit. But it's like, guess what? We're all pieces of shit sometimes. People are fallible. And it's not like you just hate the motherfucker like yourself. Like you don't like him.
You don't like him, but
he's trying. They make it clear that he's trying.
Yes,
right?
which goes a long way.
Yes.
And I love sort of that first conversation between Rogers and the interviewer where it's just kind of like this, when he tells him that he got into a fight with his father and he goes, oh no. And it's just he's so taken aback by this is reality. And I was, you know, it's just one of those things that just makes you miss him as a human being.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I wish that I would have realized how, you know, when you're a kid, you don't realize what you have.
Right.
And Mr. Rogers is one of those things where it's like, I forgot who said it, but somebody, maybe it was the article, because I read a chunk of the actual article that he was writing in the movie when I got home. But somebody said, or maybe it was in the movie, somebody said to kids, he sounds like an adult. To adults, he sounds like a kid, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't realize when you watch Mr. Rogers as a kid, like, I don't remember ever thinking like, oh my God, I'm learning about death or whatever.
Right.
I don't remember ever consciously thinking that.
Right. Well, and the fact that he covered death and divorce on a kid's show, that's kind of mind-boggling.
Guess what? Kids have to deal with that shit too.
Yeah. Well, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love, and you say he sounds like a child, and he kind of does, but it's also, he speaks these sort of universal truths. Like when the guy sort of starts watching all of these interviews from Rogers, once he's kind of like,
sure,
I can't fucking believe this guy is real. You know, he starts just diving in.
Yeah.
And he's on, I think, Oprah talking about raising children and stuff. And I'm just like, this guy, this guy's fucking smart, actually. Like, he had some real guiding truths that helped him live a truly important life. And that's, I don't know. It's just one of those things, like, we don't see people like him. And I think my favorite thing maybe was the ending where they actually humanize him to the point where when everybody leaves set, he kind of does that thing that he talks about when he gets mad, where he just hits all the lower keys. I'm like, see, he's a fucking human.
That's right.
And they made sure to make that be
a
the
weird
point.
way to deal with being mad. But
yep. Well, I mean, some people go and punch a bag.
Yeah, that's true. You just go play the lowest keys on the piano.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that he was a real person.
Yeah.
It's crazy that him and Trump were from the same political party.
That's mind-boggling.
Even though Trump just puts on whatever political party he needed to.
Oh God. There's been
but isn't
so
that
much
isn't
politics.
That crazy to think of though? Like you can't even imagine that Mr. Rogers, like, I would feel like it would just make him sick today to turn on the news.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't even.
And I think that's
I can't
a part
even
of it.
imagine. He must like. It's kind of sad to think of what he thought the world was going to towards the end when we had the 24-hour news cycle and all that shit. Because TV wasn't 4 channels anymore, and one of them with Mr. Rogers. It's now this. Kids can turn on TBS and watch Die Hard with.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's a certain amount of nostalgia with the movie too, because there is a longing for a better time, and Rogers absolutely encapsulates that.
Yes, I would agree. And it was nice to see like the puppets and stuff. And
oh, you want to see
King
my
Friday the
little
13th?
Yes. Oh, man.
Danny.
Little Danny.
Yep. Sometimes
Danny's a little shy.
Danny's a weirdo too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he is Mr. Rogers. That's right.
Yep. But yeah.
So yeah, you're an A-. I'm a B.
I'm a high recommendation.
So we have 3 recommendations today.
Yes. All 3. Yeah, all 3.
Yeah. So
I mean, how spoiled are we where everything was a B or better? And I'm like,
yeah, that Knives Out, what a shit movie. B.
I don't think I've been more upset with a B movie.
He's probably not. It's probably not going to be the last time he does that to you, judging by his style. Too.
I just wish he would fucking stop. Just fucking embrace the goddamn genre that you're in. You can do little tweaks. That's what makes your story interesting. But fucking this whole, it's not what you think it is.
Shit we watched.
Whoa. Shit we watched.
So I watched a couple things. I continued the bong streak.
I
did not hit the bong.
Don't let him lie to you.
Even though I hope you insert a bong hit sound effect right after the bong streak thing. But anyways, so I watched The Host, the monster movie. You haven't seen this,
I have
right?
not seen this one yet.
Holy fuck, dude. It's fucking great. It's great.
I'm not surprised.
It's fucking amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it. It's an A.
Just solid A.
I'm giving it an A.
Yeah.
The beginning of the movie, it's tough because he made it for cheap and there's a big giant monster. It's a monster movie. And the monster doesn't look great. But then about 10 minutes in, you realize, oh yeah, this is a bong movie. Who cares what the monster looks like? It's about the characters and the themes, right?
Yes.
And it fucking is, I can't believe I hadn't seen it. It's that good. It's got, the main character is the dad in Parasite.
Oh, I like him.
And he plays kind of a dumb, like, bumbling character.
What have I seen him in? I've seen him in something else before Parasite.
Oh, and you know who else is in this?
Who?
The Asian chick who was in the Wachowski brothers movie, the one that goes like in all the time periods. With Tom Hanks and
Cloud
Halle Berry.
Atlas.
Cloud Atlas. She's the robot time period, like in the future.
Okay.
That chick.
The true.
The true.
Halle Berry.
I like that movie. Sue me. But it's about a family.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a giant monster, and it affects this family.
You had me a giant monster.
Yeah. And basically the Korean government, what they do to combat this, and the American government and kind of their interference in. So it's a fucking brilliant. It's another like brilliant thematic masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. It's amazing. It's fucking dude, I'm telling you. It's my second favorite Bong movie now.
Wow.
I think I liked it better than Snowpiercer.
Okay.
I loved this, and I haven't seen Snowpiercer in a while, so I'm going to go back and watch that again, and I'm sure I'll come back on the show and sound like an asshole hyperbole monster. but dude, I mean, you're probably not surprised that it's great.
No,
you probably
I'm not.
would expect it to be great.
I have loved everything that I have seen him make. I cannot believe, like, to think like there's something that could be as good or better than like Okja and Snowpiercer and Parasite there's
nothing he's made that isn't like arguably that one couldn't, depending on their own tastes, think is his best movie. They're all that good.
Yeah.
Mother was good.
I do love his range too. I really do.
Yeah. This one is like a cheesy monster movie, and it fucking turns into this like, fucking brilliant goddamn movie.
This is how these goddamn, I think this is how directors should do it, is go from genre, pick a genre that you love. You got an idea that's like a slight tweak on it, go and do that. I mean, the fact that he's covered the gamut of what he's done so far, that's impressive as fuck.
Because the Host, I think there's one or two before the Host, but I think the Host was his like, his coming up. And the Host is a monster movie. Mother is like a weird, like, kind of it's about a mother who's trying to get her son out of trouble because he's like mentally ill. So it's a drama kind of mystery type thing.
Sure.
Snowpiercer's like a sci-fi action movie.
Yep.
Okja is a fucking like,
I think it's
satire or comedic satire, right?
It's a comedic satire that's also a boy and his dog movie.
Sure. Yes. And then Parasite, Parasite's fucking...
It's a psychological thriller.
It's the weirdest fucking thing.
It's a psychological thriller that's also a comedy.
And a horror movie. So he's at the... I'm with you. I'm sold. He's top 3 for me.
Of all time?
Right now.
Current directors?
Yeah, he's up there with like Denis, I would say.
He's up there with Denis and Taika, I would say.
Yeah, he's fucking amazing. And this just made him
it's really funny to me. I mean, eventually we'll have to
just do a fucking episode on this movie because this is a fun one. Okay. This is a fun movie.
Sure.
It's intense because you realize about 15, 20 minutes into it that I love every fucking character in this.
Uh-huh.
God, is it good.
Eventually we're going to have to do, and this will be some point in the future, we're going to have to do some sort of like top 5 working directors.
Okay.
Because I am shocked that, so I would say like 10 years ago, I was just in love with Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
I was like, I want to be the next Christopher Nolan. This guy is fucking amazing. And then like in the subsequent 10 years after.
The last couple movies.
I've been,
3.
Like 3 movies, last maybe even 4. I don't think that The Dark Knight Rises is all that great.
That would be, hold on.
That was the beginning of the downfall for me.
The Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, the war movie.
The war movie. And then
Dunkirk. That's it.
Dunkirk. That's right. Oh, and then the fact that his trailer for the last movie looks terrible.
I think it looks good.
Time for a new protagonist.
Right. It's going to be great.
He's black. It's different. My movie is totally different now.
Hey, when is he going to do an interview? I don't want to give anything away, but we're going to have a black protagonist in this movie.
That's what the goddamn trailer was.
Yeah.
That was his interview.
That's like in the Last Jet or the Rise of Skywalker movie. There's like some dude blowing another dude in the background, and J.J. Abrams comes out and goes, hey, not going to give anything away.
Oh my God.
There's some LGBTQ in this movie.
He comes out, stops the movie, breaks the fourth wall, and tells you
he goes on
happening?
Like Good Morning America after everyone's seen the trailer.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, guys, listen, no spoilers. But yeah, never mind. But no, yeah. So what are we talking about? Oh, we need a director's episode.
Well, eventually.
We should do like director's spotlight episodes.
We're still in shit we watched.
Yes. What'd you watch?
I tried to watch Captain Marvel and I fell asleep.
Okay.
But the parts that I was awake for were exactly what I thought with my first review.
It didn't increase.
It didn't increase. It didn't decrease. It stayed right at that C+.
That mediocre Marvel movie
It's
spot.
fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
I watched about 75 to 80% of The Sandlot the other night.
Oh, you didn't even finish it.
I started it late. It was on TV, so I turned it on. Pretty fun. I jokingly posted something on Facebook, like to kind of troll people that it was terrible.
Sure.
That was a joke, but in all honesty, it's just not very good. And I hate to be that guy, but I think honestly, it's that kids' movies and entertainment have gotten so much better in the last 10 to 15 years. I would say since Shrek. I would say that was the movie that changed. I mean,
but you're also talking about a time period where we had Aladdin, we had Beauty and the Beast.
That's true. True.
I think that live action children's movies have gotten better because they have decided, well, one, they're almost non-existent. So it's kind of tough.
And we also don't see the bad ones, do we? Like, we're not seeing Spy Kids or whatever.
That's true.
You know what
Kids.
I mean?
You want to talk about fucking terrible.
Is it bad?
Spy
I've
Kids
never
is
seen it.
Fucking terrible.
Or Monster Trucks or whatever, like that last one with the monster trucks. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I guess those still exist. So maybe I'm just wrong, but I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, I guess it's kind of cute, but like I can see how adults watching it with their kids when it came out, maybe it wasn't very fun for them to watch with their kids.
The kids were fun to watch.
For the kids.
No, for me.
You think so?
I've watched The Sandlot in the last 4 or 5 years. I haven't changed that much in this time period. And
they're so dumb.
No, it's not a great movie. But goddamn, some of those lines are fun.
Yeah, I suppose that's
the
true.
Great Bambino.
Yeah, but
you're killing me, Smalls.
But the whole fucking plot is so stupid to me. I can't get over how stupid the plot is.
That's kind of why I love it. Is because for kids,
I guess it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, no, for kids that is like a thing. It's like, oh fuck, there's this scary dude. He's got a scary fucking dog. I don't want to go in his fucking yard.
I don't know.
That makes sense to me.
I feel like you'd tell someone or you'd knock on the door. You wouldn't be spending hours
You can't tell your parents because it's the Babe Ruth ball. You can't tell your parents.
You're just I'm trying to.
I'm saying it's actually not a bad. It's not a. Now the kids. It's the whole setup for these stupid hijinks that these kids get in.
It's a solid like C. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's
not
harsh.
great. It's not.
Okay. We were eventually going to talk about the original Ninja Turtles. We're just going to forego that.
No, the original Ninja Turtles is way better than the Sandlot.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Okay, I would agree with that.
Yes.
But I also would not put the Sandlot at a C. I'd probably put it at like a B minus.
Okay. So you'd put it like one grade above me. And
I wouldn't call it, it's certainly not an A.
No, it's not an A.
No, it's not an A.
No.
You will die. We've got like phrases on this show and they just are references to other movies.
But no, it's not an A. It's not a B. It's a C.
Okay.
It's a C and I wouldn't hate you if you called it a D. I'm putting myself out there. I'm going to be the guy this week who, if anybody listens, I'm going to get some shit. But yeah, I'm not, and let me be frank, this was never like my movie.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like growing up, I've seen The Sandlot a bunch when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. This was never my movie. So maybe that's the problem.
I think I had a period of time where it was my movie.
Okay.
But you get older, you're like, oh, I discovered Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
Or I discovered Ninja Turtles or whatever the fuck it was. So there was like a year probably where it was my movie.
I'm way more fond of that original Ninja Turtles movie.
I love that movie.
I mean, yeah, I love the Shredder in it.
That depends. Do you like penicillin on your pizza?
Oh, there you go. Yep. Now Turtles 2, not nearly as good.
No way. No way. It's not even close.
Even though it has that actor you like as the pizza guy. The
Asian
dude
I
is the
like
pizza
him.
guy.
I do like him. Eventually, we're going to watch Surf Ninjas, and you're going to fucking
That's
enjoy
right,
it.
Surf Ninjas. Now, do you have anything else that you watched?
I don't remember if I finished or if I had started Vinland Saga on the last review, but I'm just going to throw it out there again. I finished the first season.
Overall grade of the season?
It's fucking awesome. It's so
Is it getting an A?
It's so fucking good, dude.
Is it getting an A?
It's getting an A.
Really?
It's so fucking good.
So this is the best anime show that isn't like some older one that you had seen when we started the podcast.
Yes.
Since the podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I fucking love this show.
All right. Where can people watch this?
Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right. And it is it's subtitled.
It's subtitled. It's an anime about Vikings. It's got some real, like, actual historical shit in it, which is a little different for anime. I mean, they did this show back in the 90s called Rurouni Kenshin, which was sort of about the Edo period in Japan.
Sure.
But Japan dealing with sort of history in anime outside of Japan is kind of unheard of.
Interesting.
So the fact that they're dealing with, but it's still an anime.
So I heard him say it's better than Dark. Next topic.
No. It is still an anime though.
Sure.
Because like there's a guy who can jump like 15 feet.
Whatever. Who cares?
You know, and I don't give a fuck because I'm like, that's a badass like moment there.
Well, it's a representation of a badass guy. Who cares? Right.
Right. So I don't really, it's awesome. It's just fun. There's a dude who basically picks up a log and he's like, oh, like the guys are like, oh, they're out of like, the enemy is out of arrow range. Okay. And he just takes this fucking log and throws it.
He can throw it farther than an arrow can fly. He's
the biggest fucking dude in the show.
This sounds unrealistic. I can't watch
it.
It looks,
it's so good. Oh man.
Jeez, look at you.
I got to start it over again.
This is like me when I watched The Host. I mean, I was fucking floored. I loved it.
And they're Asians again.
These fucking Asians. This is just getting unfair.
It is.
How good they are at making shit. It's really disturbing.
I do wish that there was like an American cartoon that I could get into as much as like Vinland Saga.
That reminds me, by the way, there is a James Wan produced remake of Train to Busan coming.
Oh, fuck me.
And the guy who did the first Train to Busan is making a sequel. So there's good news too. But yes, they are coming. These bland bullshit remakes of good Asian cinema.
People can't see me, but I'm rubbing my head.
I could see an American remake of Parasite. I can like see it. I can fucking see it in my mind.
And it's going to be infinitely worse.
Yes. Right. But yeah, anyways, the last thing I have is something from the French.
Sure.
Marianne. So I'm not going to say much about this because I don't want to spoil it for people. I will just say that I am around the halfway mark of the only season that's on Netflix. And last night, me and the wife watched an episode that was so effectively well done that we both felt ill.
Oh.
It was fucking fucked up.
Cool.
And it was amazing. It was amazing. This is a show where she has trouble. Like she wants to watch something light when the episode is over.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's hard
cleanser.
for her to like go to bed.
Palate cleanser.
It's fucked. And she watches horror shit.
I've been there so many times.
Dude, it is fucking good. The dramatic elements of it like aren't as good, I would say, as like Haunting of Hill House.
Sure.
But as far as like really well done, creepy fucking shit, like it is fucked up.
I can't remember the last thing I had to watch where I had to have a palate cleanser before I went to bed, but I do. It has happened in the last year.
Watch the first episode of Marianne. I'm telling you, just watch the first episode, just see what it's like, everybody. Sure. There's a creepy ass fucking moment in the first episode. Every episode has like a part that's like, holy fuck, this is creepy.
Sure.
This last one we watched though, and I'm not going to say which one it is because I just want whoever watches this show to just go in completely blind. But it is from the they set up something, you know it's coming, and you feel sick because you know it's coming. And you don't know how it's going to happen. You don't have enough information to really be able to guess exactly what the circumstances will be.
Sure.
But you're sitting there just like, ugh, and it's creepy as fuck. It's great. It's great.
I'm excited
Fucking
to
great.
check it out.
You should watch it. Yeah. And these fucking foreign people, we need to do an episode, just a message to people to not discredit stuff because it has subtitles.
Absolutely.
Because there's just too much good shit out there in the world.
Yeah. I mean, if this is as good as you're saying, between this Dark and Vinland Saga, I'm like, dude, some of the best shit I've seen has been subtitled in foreign. Like, yeah.
And it's not, okay, it's not going to knock your socks off, like I said, from like a dramatic narrative. Like, to me, I thought The Haunting of Hill House was like a great story.
Yeah.
This one has a good enough story where you care about characters. The main character especially is not it's not a like archetypical character. She's got like a, you know, you don't just love her because she's the main character. She's kind of an asshole. So they do enough there, but it's the fucking scares are, I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. It's like the Conjuring type of scares that those movies are trying to do.
Sure.
But it's well done, you know?
All right.
Yeah. So
there you go. Full-throated recommendation.
this was a good recommendation show, apparently.
Yeah, I think everything was a recommendation. But yeah, I think that's the end of the episode. We will not be recording next week.
That's
there will
true.
be no episode next week because I am on vacation. Me and my newfound love, my beard, we are going not in that sort of way. My actual physical beard that is on my face.
I was going to say, it would have been great to just bookend this episode with the beard in that way.
And then the beard in that.
And right.
Maybe that's what we'll do like a Seinfeld episode. We'll just title it The Beard.
Hey, there you go. Right. But you are going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation.
A much deserved vacation.
It's been a while. It's been a while. So, we'll see you week after next week for, I guess, the week of Christmas.
The third. Well, hold on. So next week we won't see. Oh, okay. So will you be back before Christmas? Right.
Yes.
You're going to go a week.
Yep. I'm just going a week.
So I'm going to see Richard Jewell. That's going to be the movie that I will be coming with.
Richard Jewell. Which one is that?
This is the one about this guy who was accused of being a bomber. In Atlanta.
Sure. The
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood one. Right.
And I didn't even know he was making a movie. And then like 2 weeks ago, they're like, oh, Richard Jewell. I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I'm kind of.
It's supposed to be his best movie in over a decade, which isn't that hard, but. Because I was kind of disappointed by The Mule, but. And he's not in this one, which I like too.
Okay, that's good. We'll see.
Oh, it's gonna.
I don't know. I saw the trailer. I'm like,
It looks good. You fucker. It looks good. It's got my boy John Hamm in it.
Yeah, it does.
It's got what's his name from Billboards and Iron Man 2.
It's got dude from I, Tonya.
Actors. Which guy from the main? Yeah, that's right. He's like the bruiser guy. I really feel bad that I can't think of what's his name from Iron Man 2.
Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell. Yeah, thank you. He's one of my favorite actors.
I love him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's great.
But yeah, all right.
Anyways, thanks for listening. Catch you on the flippity flip.